Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us at Game Trade Media at Alliance Open House. I'm Gretchen, and I'm here with Jeff from Atlas Games.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. What do you have for me?
We're here to become more depressed, to bring some sadness to the proceedings
Turn
this
my smile
afternoon.
down.
That's right, that's right. Dim that a little bit. We've got Gloom of Thrones. This is the latest standalone game in the Gloom universe.
All right.
So in Gloom, all of the different Gloom games are about having a family of characters and making them miserable and then killing them. So you will win Gloom if you, at the end of the game, have made your family, or in this case, your house, the most miserable, and then they are all dead. So this plays right into the Game of Thrones
very
dynamic.
much. I'm like, oh, that can't be hard with Game of Thrones.
That's right. So the cool mechanical thing about all the Gloom games is that it's played on these transparent cards. So you'll have a house full of characters. So you might have Snarks or Bannisters or a couple of these other families. At the beginning of the game, so if we were going to set up a game and you're the Snarks and I'm the Bannisters, lay them out here in front of you. And then all of the horrible things that happen to them are set up on these transparent cards. So if Head Snark was coerced to confess, we just take that card and put it straight up there on the top of him. And so now he has 25 points worth of negative self-worth. So he is well on his way to providing a lot of misery and bad points for your side. Now, he does have to be dead for those points to lock in, so we're going to keep on playing around. But as more things happen to Head Snark, we just play them right on top, and that can affect what's beneath. So if he receives a Rude Raven, that has actually not made him net more sad, because we're still only seeing negative 25 points worth of bad stuff, since that 25 down there is covered up. He has not actually gotten worse off overall, even though those points are spread out further. Later on, he can intrude on incest. This seems very bad. And so now he's down to 55 points worth of bad stuff, so is now in even worse position. So this is stuff you're going to be doing to your own characters, making them miserable, making their lives horrible, because that's how you're going to win. Now, I'm going to want to make your characters happy, because I can play modifiers on your stuff. So if I decide that Head Snark drank and knew things, he is actually now back to that 0 point where he was at the beginning, because the 0 cancels out all that stuff underneath. Plus 20 points is actually the happiness, apparently, of the knowledge that he has received, that he has found in drink. And then this one we can still see, but that sums up to 0. So a play like that is pretty powerful. It brings you back. All the hard work that you did making him miserable is now for nothing, because alcohol.
And these are all of the little, they are snarks, but all the little snarky comments on the cards are so funny. This one's to the window to the wall.
Kyla, who was the producer on this game, spent a lot of time in a gigantic spreadsheet full of jokes that we just brainstormed for months and months.
The dream job.
Making them better and better, yes.
All right.
So eventually these characters will die. There are deaths also, and you won't lock in those points till they come in. So if Ned Stark finally flew out the floor, he gets a death skull there, and that locks in those points for good or ill. So then no further modifiers can be placed on a dead character.
Well, that's pretty simple. Should we try to play around?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely. All right. So let me shuffle these up. All of these modifiers, positive and negative, all of these deaths are going to go into the same deck. And then there are also event cards, and these do not go onto the characters. These are just things that happen. So you play them and they do a thing, and then that's it. And normally you'd play a regular length game, as we each have 5 family members. But if you ever want to play a shorter game, you can play a game that's got as few as 3 per person. And that's also a way that, if you are so inclined, you can make the game support slightly more players. There are 4 families that come in the basic box, but you can switch them up a little bit and play with 5 or 6 or however many you want to do. So 5 cards is what we start with. And then the rules are extremely simple. You'll play a card and then play another one and then draw back up to 5. Now, the only thing that you've got to know is that you are not allowed to kill someone on your second play. So it is not kosher to make one of your guys super miserable and then kill them right away before your opponent has a chance to make them happy or whatever. You want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
All right. How about you go first?
All right. Sounds good. All right. Let's see what I've got here. All right. So we're going to start out. Oh, and so it is also customary in Gloom to tell stories about what happens as we go. A lot of the fun is in the narratives that you make up as the game goes on. So if I start out and decide that Tipsyon Bannister, the pimp, was married to a monster for 25 points worth of nonsense, I might say that Tipsyon Bannister was drunk out of his mind one afternoon, stumbled into the cathedral, accidentally interrupted a wedding, and discovered that he had become involved in it and was inadvertently married to a literal monster, a tentacled beast, and discovered that is what happened. So that's, and better stories than that certainly will be told in games of Gloom of Thrones, but it is customary and increases the fun to just do that kind of thing. Now, Gluten Snark, Fallout Boy. For my second play, I am going to say collected a coin. He was climbing around in old towers and was delighted to discover ancient gold coins on the ground, collected them, and now has 20 points worth of happiness. Oh, so the other thing that I forgot to mention, all of these have things that happen. So the player to your right, when I played this one, may randomly select and keep one card from my hand. And then this one will actually affect you because I played it on your characters. So you can, as long as this stays up top, play an untimely death on any character with a negative self-worth as a free play. No, I'm sorry, you may do that immediately, is what that symbol means. Now, there is not one that you're going to want to kill right now because you don't have any with negative self-worth. So I guess that means it is exceptionally clever for me to do that now, even though I obviously did not plan it. So end of my turn, I draw back up to 5, and then it is your go. Now, the last thing I should do is talk about this. This is a new mechanic for Gloom, the Porcelain Throne. This card is going to move to any player who plays a modifier that has this crown symbol on it. So this is all of these characters ascending to the Porcelain Throne or being thrown back off of it as the time goes. And that's these symbols here. So sometimes there will be a crown symbol. If one of your characters gets one of those, you'll take this, and that'll be worth negative 30 points. And also, I think, gives you an ability. This lets you kill people as your second play when you are the current monarch sitting on the Porcelain Throne.
All right,
so,
now I'm like, where's the thrones? All right.
Depths of strategy.
There are. All right, so I'm going to say that while Gluten Snark was collecting a fanciful coin, he got his hand stuck and unfortunately had a hand hacked off.
All right.
Win some, you lose some.
Yeah, you do.
So that is going to go ahead and bring him back down into the negatives, actually, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So discard your entire hand, skip your draw phase in this turn.
So since that has got such a... So that's a counterbalance to all the negative stuff there. So if you want, you could play that as your second play so that you will not lose your entire hand before playing 2 cards. Your call, if you want to rewind that slightly. Or just carry on. I'm not the boss of you.
I'll carry on.
All right, super good. So discard your whole hand.
I'm going to trust in my gloomy, sad cards.
In your de-handing.
Yes.
Super good. All right. So for my turn, I think Tywin Bannister, pictured here in the latrine, birthed a beast.
Oh.
Which is something that might happen there.
I mean, yeah.
That's and it was clearly a very unpleasant circumstance. So I can play a modifier with the skull icon as a free play, and that just means it doesn't eat up one of my 2. Now, I actually happen to have one here. Having his hand hacked off, he made pie of his prey.
Oh.
Maybe baked that hand right into the pie. That seems very appropriate to the source material. So now he is back to being somewhat self-satisfied with all of this nonsense that has been going on in his life. And Shamey Bannister, off fighting, received word of all these horrible things were going on, and it confused him very much, and he bungled in battle. He charged when he should have not done that. So that is my second one. Draw back up to 5, and it is your go.
All right, so I can draw back up to 5.
Since the draw is at the end of your turn, you actually won't have any cards to play. So that will wind up essentially passing your turn.
All right.
Since you do not have any stuff to do. But at the end of this turn, you'll draw back up to 5, so then I'll go again. Which is why, this is a really powerful card, but it essentially ate up one of your turns in order to make it happen.
I'm okay with that.
All right,
I'm trusting in the cards I'm going to get.
That's sensible.
Yeah.
All right, well, your draw.
All right. Aha.
Oh, and I'm behind one. I forgot to draw. All right. So I'm going to start off my first play by suggesting that Tipsy Bannister was stabbed by a shadow. Probably the one that he married. Or one of the people that came along with that in the night, while drunk, presumably, stabbed by a shadow. He dies. This one says it's worth an additional minus 10 points with the skull icon. Now, I can't see one of those, so I don't qualify that, but it's going to lock in these 25 points of negative self-worth for me. So if the game were to end now, I would have some points on the board. As my second play... Let's see. Let's say that Sans Serif Snark gabbed gaily in the garden, went all about that place telling happy stories about all of the nice things, all the pie, the delicious pie that she had eaten the night before. Good stuff. So you do get an ability from that. Draw one card for each crown icon in your family, of which you got one.
So I have one.
Oh, also, you have wound up on the porcelain throne as a result of that. All of this gabbing gaily in the garden ended that nice walk, sitting on a nice chair that turns out to be the throne. So go ahead and draw a card for that.
All right.
And you do now have that ability to kill someone as your second play.
Ooh.
And then back over to you.
Back over to me. All right, so I am going to say that while she was gabbing gaily in the garden, she wielded a wildfire wickedly. So get that minus 10.
Right, killed weeds.
Once more. Killed some weeds, yeah. So, and then you said I can kill as my second action?
As your second. Also, since you played this one, if you have a skull one, you get that as a free play, which will not eat up your second play.
Oh. So that's interesting.
So there's a little bit of strategy in the various Gloom games of trying to chain those modifiers together or being aware of the abilities that you're going to get, because there's a little bit of efficiency you can tease out of that. This is obviously not a game of super deep thinking strategy. This game is about storytelling and misery and things like that. But there is some gameplay there that you can use to your advantage.
All right. So I can kill anyone.
Anyone who has a negative self-worth score. You can't generally
right.
kill happy people without a special ability.
So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take out one of you guys over here.
Oh, right on. And this is one that covers up all of the bad stuff that happened to them already. All right.
I say it was me. Just deal with it.
All right.
Shades come down.
All right. That works.
I trusted in getting rid of my deck. It rewarded me.
All right.
That's an interesting card.
I'm going to maybe make a run at it here and kill some more people. So Shamey Bannister, having bungled in battle, returned to his tent, just drank himself to death. That seems like a fitting thing to happen. If you're going to just screw the pooch in battle, the only really sensible thing to do is to drink, and drinking yourself to death, that seems like a thing that would happen in this universe. This is going to be worth extra if I've got that goblet icon. I don't, but that's fine. I've locked in 45 points to the negative here, and I'm 3 deaths ahead of you, so I'm feeling pretty good about my rush to chaos here. As my second play, I think Sans Serif Snark maybe turned up at a tournament. The wicked wildfire wielding suggested to tournament recruiters that she would find an extremely positive place wielding that from horseback in a tournament. So was drafted into that. She's feeling pretty good about herself. So she's
living her
plus
life.
10
She's
points
living
worth
her
of good
life.
stuff. You're going to get a card for every coin icon that you've got in your family right now.
Ooh, so that is one of them.
So I'm 2 plays in. I'll draw back up to 5, and it is your go. Now the game will end, and this is obviously information that I failed to share earlier. The game will end when one entire family is dead. And then you will score points only for dead characters. And we probably don't have time to play all the way to the end of that here, but that is where we're going to, is where one of us will finally succeed in killing all of our people, and then at that point we'll score based on that.
All right. Is there anywhere we can go to get more information about this game?
The Atlas Games website's got a ton of information about this game. The sites around the web, Google it up and find the stuff.
Awesome. And so when is this available?
December 1st is the street date for this one.
All right. And you can find that at your friendly local game store.